All right, so the next segment, child raising years. And for some reason, this section,
It's her 65th birthday.
she's been a long life, right? I mean, it's like the Lord of the Rings all in one night.
It's a trilogy.
21 trilogy, right? Bonus features.
hours we're spending the night.
Like the Lord of the Rings all in one night.
So, one of the things that for homeschooling I was able to participate is participating in acting. So at that time in our life, she did a lot of acting, and I got drugged along. Not so much, but I did a lot of behind the scenes and lights, and it was a great experience. And then
The smoke machine.
yeah, the smoke machine.
When you say drugged along, you're not talking about my performance.
It depends if he's going to stay with.
But it's something, an experience that I would not have gotten otherwise if I'd been going to a normal school day, just being out late and whatnot. So it is definitely a huge benefit to my education through the junior high years. But I think we'd all agree here that everything leading up to this evening is to the actual act here. Everything was just opening acts. Opening acts. But to the real headliner here, we need to share some memory, have some memories shared from Mr. Tom Cooks here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know. If
Sit
he's
down.
I don't know if he's going to go with his prepared statements or he's going to just go. I mean, it's up.
I wanted to get back before you started. I'm glad I
Just in
did.
time.
When you speak of this, and you will, be kind.
Thank you.
So,
You're not wearing a coat I gave you.
No, it's
all
it's at home. It's at
It's
home.
at home?
Saved it.
I
there's your
forgot.
prepared or you go ad lib.
No, it didn't fall
Yes, it
apart.
did.
The collar is a little ragged, but the rest of the jacket is.
Okay. Yeah.
Deborah Lee,
Yes,
thank you so much for bringing this
absolutely.
thing together. I know how hard it is to schedule all these people and get in there and emails.
Well, he gave me your email address, so I just sent it. I said, I hope it's valid, I hope it works, and then I got a
I know,
reply
is that
back.
why we had 6 emails back and forth
At
before
least,
we got it worked
yeah.
out?
At least.
And Rand, man, thanks for having me here at your house. It's a beautiful house and the view. All these
And the
kids and
frogs.
stuff.
Is it?
I can't help noticing that once the
Is this gonna
cake...
be long?
Yeah, it's a long story. She put you up to say that, didn't she?
You can have a pillow and go to sleep, okay?
I used to always say that when Margaret would tell them stories.
I can't help but notice that as soon as the cake was served, everybody jetted out of it. That was it. So that's all they came for.
Well,
Oh.
I heard you. No.
Oh!
No, I didn't hear it. You're
He
right.
said they heard you were gonna speak.
No, I heard what you didn't hear. I heard what I didn't hear. Okay? I heard what I didn't hear.
Selective here. Okay, yeah, I know about that.
I'm on stage now. You're the audience. So my memories are short. I'm in Margaret's acting part. We met at Scrooge, playing at Calvary Chapel, Capitol Beach. And Margaret was Mrs. Fezziwig.
It's on the screen, Tom, right behind you.
Yeah.
Turn around, it's on the screen.
There's me.
I know it's on the screen. That's part of the deal. That works out. I've done this
Nice lipstick.
Like the eyebrows.
Who does your makeup?
Okay, that's the story. Besides being Mrs. Fezziwig, Margaret was the head of costume for it. These were not union jobs. It's all volunteer work. It's at the church. We're all volunteers. So she has 2 jobs. She's in the play, but she's also head of costume.
I wasn't the head.
Somehow, she came up with the idea that my part as angel number 2 in Scrooge, a really impactful religious play, that I would be dressed as a 1770s French dandy with the lipstick and the makeup and all this stuff.
Angel number 2.
And angel number 2 was my role.
Christmas
It
present.
was a big role. Thank you very much. Thank you for recognizing that. A lot of people don't. So the issue was that I auditioned for the part, and I was really pleased to get angel number 2 because, as you recognize, it's a big role, and it's tough to play. It is. It was a hard part.
You did a good job. I heard.
I've got it on tape. You
It's
can
in the
watch it.
paper reviews.
You are my favorite. I'm not
Paper
kidding.
review.
I'm not kidding. You are definitely my favorite.
Audience, no matter what.
Anyway, I wasn't told when I auditioned for the part anything about the costuming. And so it wasn't until the first dress rehearsal that I had any idea what it was. So I was to report to Margaret, head of costuming, to get my costume for the first dress rehearsal. And she showed me what you saw right there in that dandy thing. And I said, well, I don't think this fits who I am and how I see the role. Well, that's what the director said, she said, according to her. I said, right. And you'll have to wear makeup. I said, well, that doesn't really fit my surfer dude, manly man image of how I see myself, and you'll have to wear lipstick. I said, well, no, you know what, that's not going to work for me. No. Anyway, long story short, she prayed with me each performance before, and then she would help me get into the makeup, help me put on the lipstick, and I would get in that ridiculous deal, and I did it every night and did that
He was
play.
very popular. Audience loved him.
Thanks to Margaret, I could not have done it without her. But on the other hand, she was responsible for the thing because she was head of costuming and she came up with the idea to begin with. After that, let's see, we did an improv class, and in the improv class, our director, Glenn Kelman, the church brought in Glenn Kelman as a professional director.
Yeah.
And he looked at our improv work and decided what we would be in the next play called Matters of Consequence, which was his version of A Little Prince, a pretty famous book called Little Prince. And I was the businessman, which fit kind of who I was in real life. And Margaret was the conceited person, which...
Kind of fits.
You get what I'm saying? Margaret's big line that I can remember in this play, I mean, she had several, but the one I remember is she would look up, and she did it really well. It was good, and it was very Margaret. It was, see if I can do it right. Just let me hit this one. Do you like me very much? That was her line.
I would say, do you admire me very much? And everybody was supposed to clap. And I thought this was great, night after night.
So after that, we became great friends, and became great friends with the family, with Chris and Margaret, and like she said, Timster and I did windsurfing down in the harbor. That was good fun. And Tim, you were always my favorite.
He knows.
I want to watch the train.
And the two boys were always my favorite. Equally the two boys,
Okay.
not the others. And then, so Margaret and Chris then would help me with my play. Because I went on to community theater, and I would come, and Margaret would be my director. She would run my lines with me, tell me how I should play my part, tell me the role I should have. She's the one that taught me that when there's a TV screen behind me, that I should stand here and look out at the audience. She taught me things like that. And not only that, but they came to all my performances.
Yes.
And talk about a loving person. Both she and Chris and the tipster came, Bethany came. They all came, and they would clap and cheer and throw, I think it was flowers you threw, wasn't it? Well, I think it could be flowers.
Depends on the play.
Look at that. But they cheered so loudly that I would get really good favorable reviews.
I read
And the reviews, you remember this?
I read it.
And the reviews would say things like, the audience loved him. The audience cheered and roared.
But you were very good.
You were good, yeah.
That was it. And so I appreciate that. And it was fun. And I learned a lot about life and family and love and what a loving family is like. And for my parting gesture, Margaret, you'll remember this from our life. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're the nicest girl that anyone's ever sent down here. And if I had a cannon, I would fire it to show a little celebration for us now.
Aw.
But since I left at home, I'll simply have to say thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you
I
very much.
love you, Margaret.
That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said. Well, I have to tell you a story about these acting days. We'd go places and he had this car. I mean, the stuffing was coming out of the seat. Do you remember this? The dashboard would pop down. No, wait. He would put his windsurfing boards on the roof, and he didn't care if he dinged it or scratched it or whatever. It was just an adventure going in his car. Well, it died, and his family said, "You have the money, buy a new car." So he listened to them, and he bought a new car, which was probably stolen and taken to Mexico. And he said, "I'm done with this," and he went and bought another junker. And he still has a junker. Yeah. I'm not going to waste money. No,
This is the kind of wisdom I would get. We go out windsurfing all day long. We load up the car, get in his car, and we're driving away. And I look at his clock, and the clock is an hour off. I said, "Why don't you change the clock for the time change?" And he told me it's just going to change back.
Oh, I like this guy.
It's the same thing about making your bed.
Right.
Get in it again.
And as a junior high kid, I was like, "There you go."
that makes sense.
So I don't know how I can top that, but I do have some more prepared child years. You may have seen some of these. Oh, there's that one.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's his costume.
He's saying, oh my God.
You look pretty good with lipstick on.
Alright, that's it. That's it now. No more.
He's a real man to wear lipstick.
So other plays ran was Little Prince, Charlie Brown. I think it's You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Maybe the proper title. Bad Seed.
Oh, yeah.
And then the notorious, you may have read about this also, the San Clemente Senior Center striptease. Wait for it, there's a photo, she's in a pilgrim outfit, I believe.
Yes.
And I was at this event, and it was Senior Center here in San Clemente. And at one point in the song, she opens up the pilgrim and has a flapper dress and starts doing a Charleston.
Oh, we saw the blue dress. Yeah.
You know, there's a couple, pacemakers going off there.
It's that song, in olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking. Heaven knows, anything goes. Yeah.
Margaret, didn't you say that some dear old lady spilled her punch? Or
No, the man spilled his punch on her. On her, yeah.
Knowing what he has to do.
But then to kill off, because he did a delightful number, and so he's sitting out there with the seniors, and he said, "Well, who did you like this?" And they said, "Oh, we liked that lady that was the
Yeah, we like this.
Chris, I have a light blue mustache.
Oh, here it
There
is.
we are, there you go. That's perfectly a nice, it's modest.
Yes.
But it's
And then she does a dance. Here comes her dance.
That's our Margaret.
Tim was shocked. He just shook his head at me. Margaret.
How old were you?
Yeah, I was homeschooling him. And he was embarrassed.
So when she wasn't cruising to town as a flapper, yeah. Other things, Lonnie alluded to the home pass, which was, picture this description. At the end of the section of an abandoned Route 66, where you use the cut in front of the hill for the restroom, and for entertainment, you sit under the railroad track bridge on a hot day, say clear. And for entertainment, you divert the creek from one direction to the other. And then trains would blow the horns as they pass. I mean,
Sounds fun, huh?
yeah.
Good.
I have a journal entry.
Okay.
When we arrived at the home pass, we got flashlights and went to the little canyon where we go to the bathroom. And we found a black little spider. Great. We had hot dogs and chili for dinner. Now it is 8:30 p.m. and everyone is in bed. I wish I was home in my big house instead of being cramped up in the van. Oh well, tomorrow night it appears a different light. That was on November 1st. November 2nd. After going to bed so early, the boys were up today at 6 a.m. You'd have to repeat warnings not to play in their good clothes. They were all walking on the dirt outside when Chris and I got up at 7:30. Chris made them stand facing the van for punishment since we didn't have a corner. Then everyone changed their clothes in time to see a Santa Fe TOF stalled on the hill. On the train radio, the engineer said he had 1 minute out, grease on the tracks and no sand. So the dispatcher had the UP train coming up behind, couple on and give him a push. We had the traditional eggs, bacon, and hash brown, planning mashed with the dishes, and we headed to the creek under the railroad bridge. Chris and the boys spent hours changing the course of the creek and did a good job too, thanks mainly to Chris. The boys built islands, bridges, roads, and were a wonder to behold. It reminded me of the towns that elves and fairies. I watched the work, crocheted, passed the sun, and furnished snacks and drinks. Matthew stopped now and then to count railroad cars. He kept track all day of the cars by the road. I think S2 is winning right now. We had chicken noodle soup, cheese, and crackers for dinner. Then it got dark and we did our trick-or-treat game. The boys made up costumes. Timmy was a baseball player, Matthew an Arab, Randy a rad 6th grade student. Chris shocked the boys by showing up clad only in his underpants. In the cold dark of Canyon. They said it was the stupidest costume ever. So we marched around the van and I passed out the candy. Then we played Uno. Tim won the first game, Chris the second, and the third lasted so long we gave up and went to bed at 9 p.m. All in all, it was a good day.
You know, they're really light.
So we trick-or-treated, we go around the van.
Well, I don't know.
Come back to the same door.
With what?
Sleepwalking in the van.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
That was, we were speeding along down I-5, and I heard a noise behind me, and Matthew had gotten up, we had a bed in the back of the van, he'd gotten up from the bed, and he was trying to open the door on the freeway. He was sleepwalking, and I go down, and I reached around and grabbed his pants and hung on, and Chris went across 4-lane the highway to show us. Well, what had turned out is the last rest stop, Randy, bless his heart, had locked the door. And that's why he didn't open it.
Does that make up for the ice cream?
Yes, it does.
Balances out.
It saved your brother.
So when we weren't,
Huh?
Oh, the ice cream truck.
Yeah,
when we weren't hanging out at the abandoned end of Route 66, one time they camped in the van in a back alley for a week in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah.
The grand opening of the California Railroad Museum. Randy and Matthew participated in the public train show by riding in the Union Pacific 8444 Steamer.